everyone. Hello. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I am back coming live to you today with another check-in with one of our guests. Happy Wednesday, everyone. We are going to be checking in with the amazing Khadija Farah. If I can figure out how to invite her on this, oh my God, how do I do that? Wait, I just did that yesterday, and now I'm having... Oh, okay, there it is. Khadija!
Hello.
Hi! So
How are
good to see
you?
you.
Good to see you too.
I'm good. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Okay. It just started raining, so hopefully the Wi-Fi doesn't cut off.
I know my Wi-Fi is very icky here, but let's hope that it works. Where are you right now? I think you're traveling, right?
No, I'm in Nairobi now. Back in Nairobi.
Okay,
I just
got
got
you. You
back.
were traveling a little bit a while ago, right?
Yeah, I just got back on Monday. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, welcome, Khadija, and welcome everyone who is joining us for this live. All this week and next week, what I'm doing is I am checking in with the amazing guests that we had on our podcast in the past year, because this month we're celebrating a 1 year anniversary of our podcast, actually, which is crazy that a year has passed already. It's been so fast. But Khadija was the guest that we had on our very first season last November. And if you guys haven't listened to the episode with her, you absolutely have to go and listen to it. I just re-listened to it myself in preparation for today, and man, we shared some good stuff in that episode. We really shared the struggles of being freelance, which I'm excited to get into there. And you shared your story, Khadija, which is really interesting as well. So for everyone who's listening now or who's going to listen to this later on, be sure to check out that episode. It's episode 8 in our first season. Really wonderful conversation with Khadija. So welcome. I'm so happy that you were able to join us today, Khadija.
Yay. I'm happy to be here. You're gonna have to remind me um, about what we talked about because I don't like listening to my own voice. So, um, I don't really remember what was said.
And that's okay, because whoever is listening now, they will go and check it out on their own. I don't want to maybe return to the conversation we had. What I do want to do is to check in with you now and see how you're doing now. How has this year been for you, right? This never ending pandemic year and all this stuff. I don't know. It at least for me, it feels like we're living in some kind of a Groundhog Day kind of situation. Even though we're starting to travel more, even though the world, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back kind of situation. But yeah, I'd love to hear how you're doing now, a year after our conversation.
I am okay. I'm good. I'm alive. I survived COVID. Um, I think this year has been very difficult for me. It's been a bit of a transition year. So working has kind of taken a step back, and I'm sort of focusing on family things and like personal things, I guess, and like working on myself and my mentals. So that's what I've really been up to this year. I haven't really worked that much, and but I'm getting back into it now. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, this year has been a transition year, and I hope I come out of it for, I don't know, like as a better person.
Yeah,
Not like,
definitely.
I don't know. Yes, I think last year was great for me work-wise. I was thriving.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but sort of personal things took a kind of a, they were like at the back, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, this year has been rocky, but also good in some ways because it's made me confront or focus on things that I have been ignoring for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's that's pretty much been me.
And I love, thank you for sharing that, Khadija, because we, at least in the States, right, we live in such a hustling mentality where it's like, I'm so busy and I'm always working, and busy equals success
Hmm.
in our mentality and in our culture. And for you to come and say, you know what, work took a back seat, that's like amazing that you said that, because we need to talk about that more often. This year has been so difficult for so many of us, and it has been such a year of reassessing a lot of things, you know.
Hmm.
And I love that you shared that, actually, because that is really refreshing for me. Instead of saying, oh, you know, everything's great, I'm working this and that, and I'm so busy and doing all these things, it's like, no, you know, my priority right now is something else. And that's amazing. I really love that. So thank you for sharing that. And I can relate to that as well.
Yeah. Where are
I can
you at
relate. Yeah.
in 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 your life?
Well, right now I'm in Jordan. I'm in Amman. And I'm here in Amman until the end of the year. I just led a group here. I had a trip that just wrapped up. And now I'm here. I'm actually studying Arabic here in Amman until the end of the year. Yeah, and you know, going back to that thing of reassessing, last year during the pandemic, I just realized that like there's so many things that I want to do with my life that I still haven't, because of, you know, because again, we have to hustle, we have to always like build our careers and, you know, be
Hmm.
busy, and there's such a fear of losing opportunities if you focus on something else, that I've been wanting to study Arabic for a long time, but I haven't. And
Hmm.
so I decided, you know, as soon as I can travel, I will go and do that, because, you know, now is the best time to do that. So
Yeah.
that's sort of been my journey.
Oh, I would also love to learn Arabic.
It's
I mean, I
it's
know how to read it. And that's it. And I can like understand just
uh-huh.
like a little bit. But
Mhm.
yeah, I can't speak it obviously. But yeah,
Mhm. Mhm.
that's awesome.
It's Yeah, thank you. It's been really fun to do that.
Hmm.
But so tell me, how are things in Kenya right now, in Nairobi? How are things in Nairobi?
Well, I've been here for 3 days, so I can't really speak on how things are. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it just, life is moving, life is going on. There's no longer a curfew. Um, so I can't say things are getting back to normal because, like, what is really normal anymore?
What is normal? Yeah.
But um, it's after like 8 months in the US, it's good to be back.
Mm.
So, yeah, it's good to be back, and I'm like ready to get going. Work-wise, I think I, as much as taking a break and like working on yourself and dedicating time to your family and whatnot, I think working is really part of my, I don't want to say it's part of my essence, but it's like something that gives me purpose, sort of. And so when I'm not working, I'm like, who am I without work?
Yeah, I can relate to that.
But I'm really, I mean, I know who I am now without work, so I'm excited to get back to get back into it. So yeah, I don't really know how Nairobi is. I haven't really ventured out of my small house bubble. But I mean, I hope it's okay. It's kind of sad because we've lost so many people this year.
Oh,
So there's kind of just like that specter looming. But yeah, there's like so much loss, but the world is just, the world keeps moving, you know? And so you have to move with it. So yeah, that's
yeah.
where I am. That's where I am now.
You know, there's this phrase I recently heard. I don't remember where or who said it, but it's like the world is for the living,
Mm,
you know, and I love that because, yeah, that basically is, you know, we have to keep going, even with all the
yeah.
losses and all the pain that we've experienced in this year. But I wanted to ask you actually, Kadiha, because this is something that a lot of people in my Genius Women community wrangle with or face this idea that, you know, there's this pressure, at least in the travel writing side, where you have to keep pitching all the time and you have to keep publishing all the time. And if you don't publish all the time, you sort of disappear from the face of the earth and you lose the momentum, and it's so scary and all of that. I have a different point of view on it lately. Like, I don't feel that way anymore. And I don't know, maybe it's because I've been in the industry for 5 years and it's always been like ebb and flow for me. But I don't feel that pressure that, you know, if I like, I'm not afraid that I will lose a momentum, basically, is what I'm saying. But I'm curious how you see it now, having taken this break and now wanting to get back into it. How do you feel or think about it now?
Um, yeah, as a photographer as well, you have to keep like getting published, like getting work. Um, but I think I've just been telling myself like what is meant for you will never miss you. So whatever work opportunities I had coming to me, well, that I couldn't do because I wasn't here,
Mm-hmm.
I was just kind of spreading them around to like my friends and other women that I know who are here. And I'm like, that's yours now. So, you know, I don't feel so
Mm-hmm.
bad, I guess. I think maybe last year I would have felt worse, or the year before I would have felt worse. Um, but honestly, it's like gigs come and go, and like money comes and goes, and it's all relative. Because when
Mm.
you die, you're not gonna go with like your publications. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes, I know exactly.
So I know it sounds like really morbid, but yeah, I believe that whatever the universe has written for you, you will always get. And
Mm-hmm.
if it's not meant for you, you won't get it. And you can't dwell on things that you haven't gotten. Um, and you can't like dwell on like pitches that haven't worked because
Yeah.
either that pitch wasn't meant for that publication, or you just need to like rework it or do something, you know? It's just like there's always a reason I have to feel. I have to believe anyway to keep my sanity. um, that yeah, if it doesn't work out, just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah,
if
I
you
love
don't
it.
want to keep going, that's also fine. If you want to like
That's
take a
okay
break
too.
from it, that's good too. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, I truly believe that this industry, there's always a space for you and there's a space for everybody else as well. So if you're not so, like if you feel like you should be getting that job, like you're like, oh my gosh, why wasn't I the one hired for that? Or which is how I used to feel sometimes. I used to be like, why am I not the one who's getting that job? Because I can do that work, but
Mm.
it wasn't yours. So
Yeah.
there's, I think, a difference when you feel like the industry is kind of not inclusive. There's that part of it to where you're like, I'm not getting jobs because the industry just kind of, you know, is not inclusive, as I said.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but then there's that side where you feel really competitive with other people and you're like, you see other people getting jobs or like getting published and you're like, oh my gosh, why is that not me? Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I just have to feel like I have to believe that it's not my time or it wasn't meant for me. Um, and that's fine.
Yeah. I I love that, Kadika. I really love that you share that because I think it's gonna resonate a lot with a lot of people who are
Hmm.
in our community and who are working on their, stories, their work. I believe that too, and that's also why I don't feel that pressure anymore, or like exactly like I feel like the stories that I'm meant to tell, I will tell, and the stories that I didn't get to tell, they weren't mine, and
Hmm.
I don't know, it's just such a more easy or easeful, more light way to do this, to be in this industry rather than just like that scarcity and that's when you always compare yourself to others, it's just, oh my god, it's so hard to go
Yeah.
on when you do that, because there's always going to be somebody who's going to have more stuff that they've done, or more stories, or more amazing partners, or whatever, there's always going to be the people like that. So it's a losing game, I think, to to start comparing yourself like that, for
Yeah.
sure.
Um, yeah. I was gonna say something and now I forgot. This is just how my brain works these days. Literal like fish brain.
No
Um,
worries, no worries. You also just took a flight, and you are still probably adjusting to the time zone and everything.
yeah, I just had a coffee before this, so I'm hoping that it'll keep me up. It'll keep me up. Because
Nice.
to be honest, I haven't even been trying. Normally, I'm like, you have to get like on a schedule, you know? It's like coffee in the morning, melatonin in the evening, you know what I mean? But the last 2 days, I've just been like sleeping when I want to sleep and like waking up when I
Hmm.
want to wake up.
Yeah.
Because it's been a while since I've done that. But
And being more gracious with your body too, and sort of just letting it adjust in its own, however long it takes is however long it takes,
yeah,
you know.
right. Except for I have work tomorrow, so
Ah.
so I'm like, no more. That's enough. Yeah, we're gonna get back on track. But another thing, another reason I feel less of like I don't have that scarcity mentality that I had before is because I think working on personal projects
Mm.
is kind of is what I'm focused on at the moment. So yeah, I'm trying to put like I guess my time and my energy and like my ideas into creating for myself.
Mm.
Um, yeah, instead of, although I do love gigs, hire me, please. But yes,
If
I
you're
do feel
listening
like
to this and if
like if
you're
you're an
listening to this
editor,
and you're an editor, hire Khadija. She's available.
no, really, I am very, very available. But yeah, personal projects and um, trying to tell long-term stories instead of like, short-term ones. That's kind of where I am. And
Hmm.
so a lot of that is just like you have to go and figure out, what you want to, like what stories you want to tell, and it's all on you.
Yeah,
So, like, you can't really
yeah,
blame anybody else for um, not, not hiring you for something. So,
yeah.
the problem with
And I
that is
think
then
in
you have to pitch it. So, yeah.
that's true. But I think what you said about the fact, like when you work on your personal project, sorry, I think the call to prayer is starting now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's really beautiful here. Um, so what I meant to say is that when you working on your personal project, like you said, you're focusing on yourself, right? And so like shifting that focus back into yourself is just a strategy that always going to help you get out of that comparison game, right? And just focus on you. What do you want to do? Whether it's a personal project or whether it's, whether you're pitching something, just focus on you. What stories do you want
Hmm.
to tell? Who do you want to work with? Um, what do you want to create in this industry, in this work for yourself? It's, I think, for me at least, that always helps, because I mean, we're all humans, right? I still compare even today. I go on Instagram and somebody posts something and I'm like, oh, I mean, I'm happy for them, but there is still a thing like, oh, could I be doing that too?
Mm.
But when you just bring that focus back into yourself internally, at least for me, it helps to get out of that mentality to be like, nope, just, do what you need to do, and it helps for
Yeah.
sure.
Um, yeah, I think honestly, once you realize that, again, there's room for everybody, life gets a lot
Yes,
easier. Um,
yes, I love that. Yes, yes.
so there's room for you, there's room for everybody. Like, don't be afraid to spread the wealth around. Um, and
Yes.
inshallah, like you'll find your niche, your path. Um, and it's gonna just be that's just your path. Like no one can.
Hmm.
English is hard sometimes. No. No. I'm like I can like visualize what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? Like your
Yes.
lane is
No.
yours.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And you know what else you said? I remember what you said in the podcast, because I re-listened to it today. You also on the podcast, we were talking about this as well, and you said that plus you get a lot of karma points when you spread it around,
Mm.
and then some of that returns to you, right? Which is kind of a cool concept as well.
Yeah. I mean, it gives me so much joy to see other people thriving and
Mm.
like, I don't know, like it sometimes makes me really emotional, when I see like my friends winning. Um, I like go
Yes.
out, I get their magazines, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm holding your work in my hands right now. Um,
Yes.
so, I mean, I think I enjoy that more than anything.
Mm.
It's good when you win, but like when other people win as well, it's the best, truly.
Yeah, it is. I can relate to that so much, in our community, in the Genius Women community. Like when I see um, our the people in our community, when I see them publishing their work, I feel like I feel so proud of them. Like it's a really awesome feeling. Yeah, I can relate to that for sure. Um,
Yeah.
well, I wanted to ask you actually, Khadija, if you can talk about it. I don't know if you can. I don't know what the thing was, but I wanted to ask you questions about working with Naomi. I mean, that's
Oh, yeah.
incredible, and I don't know if you can talk about it or not. And if you can't, for sure, let me know. But first of all, what an amazing opportunity. And when I saw that, I think you posted that on Instagram for our listeners. Um, Khadija photographed Naomi Campbell for Architectural Digest earlier this year in this incredible spread and really beautiful feature. Check it out on her Instagram, it's there. So yeah, I wanted to ask you, how was it to work with her? I mean, it's like just something out of this world.
Um, yeah, I was like stressed. I
I mean, I
was
can imagine.
so the editor, Michael, emailed me and was like, um, are you available for a cover shoot? He didn't say like who. Cover shoot, photographing a house in Malindi. Um, it was in December last year. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing anything. And then he said who it was. He was like, okay, it's confirmed. It's Naomi Campbell. And I was like, okay. I remember I was with my family at the time, and I literally threw my phone. Like I was like, no. I threw it. And at that moment, immediately I was thinking about who else can I give this job to because I
Mm,
cannot do it. I was like, there is no way. I'm like, I'm not a fashion photographer. Like I just was like, I have to pass this on to someone else because this is not going to be me. Like, I don't shoot with like artificial lights. I'm the simplest. I usually have the simplest setup. It's just, I don't even have a
yeah,
setup. Let's be
yeah,
honest. And I was just like,
yeah.
I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. And my mom was like, why do you keep saying that you can't do this? You haven't even tried. And I'm like, but this isn't
Oh,
something that you
moms are the
try.
best. Moms are the best, honestly.
I was just like, no. I was like, this isn't something that you try. Like, you can't practice on Naomi Campbell.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was really stressed. And he was, it's always very, I don't know, a little bit surreal to me when they send me my own work as examples of what they want. And I'm like,
It's
oh,
amazing.
okay. So he sent me a couple of like photos that I've taken of just like my friends in like really cool houses. Um, so he was like, this is kind of what we're looking for. Um, but I was still very nervous, and I got um, my friend Mumbi, who is just the most amazing person, to be my assistant. And yo, I don't think I would have been able to do it without her because she was there with me every step of the way. She got the lights that I needed last minute, and I was just, when I would like freak out internally, she'd be like, "Look, you can do this. You're here. This is yours." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I'm here. This is mine. I'm gonna take it." So it was a lot of like talking to myself and like listening to myself. There was a time that I had like a little bit of a panic. And then I had to go to like my my hotel room and like sit in the dark for a little bit. And just kind of like do breathing exercises and then eat dark chocolate. Um, and
Whatever you need to do.
because I was just like, I can't believe this, I can't believe this, I can't believe this. Yeah, I was mess, to say the least. Um, and then also I did it in 30 minutes.
What? That's all the time that you had with her?
So we,
That's insane. Oh my God.
she's very nice, very, very nice. She's also a supermodel who is on her own time. So
Wow.
on the schedule, it said that I had her from like 11 to 3 or something like that. Or was it from 9? Anyway, it was 4 hours is what I remember was on the schedule. And I talked to her stylist and I was like, okay, so this is the call time is this on the schedule. And he was like, yeah, she's not going to be there at that time. So I'm like, okay. So what time is she going to be there? And he goes, shoot for probably 3 or 4 p.m. And I'm like, okay. How are we going to do this? Because they also have to shoot, like they also had to shoot the video of her going through the house. I was just really stressed out because they needed an hour for that. And, you know, sunset is a thing. So sunset's like 6 o'clock. So the video took a while to shoot. I was like, you guys can go first because I feel like that's going to take longer. And then me and Mumbi and Edward, who was the stylist, like the, what is it? Like interior stylist, that's what it is. So he and Mumbi and I went through the house and just like set up the shots and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced so that when she got there, she would just be put in place. I could fire off a couple of shots. She goes and it's raining. Is that really loud?
No, I hear it a little
Okay.
bit, but it's fine. It's nice.
And so then she would go and change because obviously she's like a supermodel and she can change in like 5 minutes. So she goes, she changes, and we run to the next setup. We do our lights, fire off a couple of practice shots, and then she walks in, she poses, the light just hits her. I don't know how, because whenever there's somebody else there, it just wasn't working the same.
Yeah.
But when she would be in the frame, it would just do like the wind would do its thing, and I'm just like,
Wow.
what?
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, it was a lot of setup and practice and setup and practice, and like that's pretty much what we did for most of the day, while understanding that the light was going to change in the house as the day progresses. And so, yeah, we had 30 minutes to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 looks. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. And that's how it went.
See,
By the time I was done, I was
That's
like sweating. And I was just like, oh my God, please let one of these work.
I know. No, they did, and they looked incredible. And again, for those of you who will be listening later, definitely go check out the work at Khadijah's Instagram, because it's an incredible work. And now knowing the backstory that it was all done in 30 minutes, of course, with preparation and with some wonderful help, it sounds like. I mean, that's an incredible one to add to your repertoire of stories to talk about your work, right? I'm curious, how do you feel now? Like if that phone call or that email came now and somebody would be like, hey, you need to photograph, I don't know, Michelle Obama or something. How would you feel now?
I would still stress. I would still freak out until the moment it's published. Like,
Yeah.
it's just how I am. I always think that I've done a horrible job until it's published. Like, I just, oh, so Musa just commented.
Yeah, I see
Musa
that.
gave me a quick, like, Photoshop tutorial because I'm not a Photoshopper. I don't know how to retouch. Like, I'm a photojournalist. Like, we don't,
Yeah.
it's not ethical.
Yeah.
But yes, he was very kind to give me some lessons, and I appreciate him so much for that. Yeah. And also
Eh,
he did some of the retouching on on those um on those photos. So yeah, it was like a group effort, man. That's what that was.
Sounds like it.
Um,
Sounds
I
like it.
appreciate you so much, Musa. Thanks.
That's
Also, we've
amazing.
never met. I've never met him before.
Oh, wow.
So this is like it's a funny, like, good things about Instagram. Yeah,
Yes,
this
for sure.
interesting community that we have.
For sure. There's so many people that I would just love to meet in real life. Oh, I recently met someone, and for the first time in real life, but we've known each other on Instagram, for years now, and it feels like this person, and like lots of their intimate thoughts and all those things, and then you meet in real life, and it's so interesting because it's so different, right? A real person with
Yeah,
flesh and blood,
I
for
know.
sure. But that's
But
that's
it's
wonderful.
people always ask me like, "Oh, where did you meet this person?" And I'm just like, "It's Instagram." I meet everybody off the internet now. So that's just
Yes.
that's how it is. But no, I would stress. I would stress out if I got the call that I have to photograph Michelle Obama. Like, what? And then inside, I would be thinking about my own politics. I'd be thinking
Yeah.
about my own politics, and then, but also, yeah, I'd freak out. I'd freak out if it was like I just because I'm a naturally anxious person. Um, so yeah, I just even if it's, just a regular person, I just freak out because I want to do a good job and I want to present them in a way that they would be proud
Yeah.
of it. And yeah, that's just I'm like, why do you do this job? But yeah,
I know. I
I
know.
stress out always. It's not healthy,
I
but it is what it is.
yeah, I know. I can relate to that because I'm also, as a travel journalist, sometimes you don't have that much time, and you don't have, like, you're not setting anything up. You're mostly in the moment, and you really want to do a good job, and you want to represent people in the way that they would want to be represented. And yeah, there's a lot of pressure for sure with that. So I can relate to that. But here's to hoping less stress and less anxiety for you in this next year, as you're getting back into more gigs and more work, and hopefully they're all going to be giving you lots of time to set up, lots of time to do it, and not like a 30-minute situation.
I think I thrive, honestly, when there's not that much time. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's like if I have too much time to think about it, then there's a problem. Yeah, so I would just rather like bang it out. A lot of times people are like, "Oh my gosh, are you done?" And I'm like, I can't stay here any longer, or I'm gonna overthink it and then I'm gonna ruin it.
Yeah,
So
that is real.
the only thing I like to take my time with, I think maybe, is wildlife. But yeah, I'm gonna work on that too. I have a lot of things to work on. But yeah, I should probably take my time more.
Yeah. So, sorry, it's getting dark here now, so we're in the dusk hour here in Amman. I want to see
Are we in the
if
same
people
time
have
zone?
questions. Maybe it's 6 o'clock here now.
Yeah, we are.
Ah, okay. All right.
Nice.
Awesome. If you guys have any questions for Khadija, please drop them in the comments. We're gonna start wrapping up soon here, but I want to make sure that if there's a question that you guys can pose it. Here's a question: what advice do you have for a fellow anxious person trying to get into the field?
Yeah, like go to therapy if you can. Find a therapist, okay? And if therapy doesn't work for you, get on some anti-anxiety medication. But honestly, it helps to know that the other person is just as nervous as you are, probably more nervous. Because, I mean, I hate people taking my picture, so I just have to put myself in their shoes and try to make them feel comfortable. So if you think about the other person as yourself, just make it like, I just feel like the other person has the same anxieties you have. And if someone agrees for you to take their photo, like, that's a privilege, you know?
Yes.
If someone asks me, like, hey, can I take your photo? My immediate reaction is to say no. So don't feel bad when someone says no. But when they do say yes, like, that's such a privilege. So, take advantage of it. And then I know it sounds maybe repetitive, but like share your work. Don't be afraid to share your work. I still have problems with it now because I'm just like, it's not good enough, and you only have to share the best. But yeah, just share your work. You never know who's looking. yeah,
And
try.
when you say share, you mean share it on Instagram or
I
share it on your website
mean,
or
share like a little bit on Instagram, but put it mostly on your website, I
mm-hmm.
feel. Um, I'm not doing so well with that, but share like your full story on your website. Um, and then Instagram is just like the highlights, you know? Um,
Mm-hmm. Or TikTok
so
nowadays, it seems like.
look, if you see me out in here doing those little dances, like I have so much respect for people who put themselves out there and do the little
Yeah, that little thing. Yeah, right.
um
Uh,
and because I scroll through. I don't have TikTok because I
Me
can't
neither.
with all the apps these days. I feel like
Me
I sound
neither.
like such an old person, but um, I definitely I don't spend as much time online as I used to, um, which is like why I don't remember when my last Instagram post was. Was it like June? Um, or May or something? I don't know. Um, but yeah, share your work. That's what I have to say. Create for yourself and share it because
Love
you're
that.
not going to get anywhere if you don't share your work. Like, it has to be seen by someone. Otherwise, what's it for? I mean, I guess it could be for
Yes.
yourself, but you got to eat. How else will you pay your bills if nobody sees your work? So get over that fear and share. And then also
I
reach
love
out to
it.
people that you admire. A lot of us really want to help. Some of us are horrible at answering DMs. Um, but when I get the chance, I do. Like when I get over my whole like. Sometimes it just becomes a little bit overwhelming. Um, but yeah, reach out to people you admire and just ask questions. Um, and ask for advice because there's no like there's no blueprint. Nobody's going to tell you you have to do A, B, C, D to get to, whoever you admire. Everybody's road is different. Um, so just ask questions and sign up for free like workshops. Everyday Africa does free like free sessions, sort of like lecture series type things. Who else? Again, my mind goes blank. But yes, look up.
There's lots of resources.
There's so many. There's, um, is it?
African Women Photograph is
Right. They do
another
that.
network.
Um, Fuck gatekeeping. I'm pretty sure
Mm,
that's the name of it. They answer a lot
yeah,
of questions.
yeah.
Yeah, so you got this. There's room for everybody. Come on in.
I love this. I love this so much, Khadija. And as always, I love your answers. They're beautiful. And in fact, and again, because I listened to your episode just today, that's what you talk about in that episode too, which is amazing, which is
Oh,
really lovely. Lovely to see that. Um, I think we're gonna start wrapping up. I actually have my Arabic classes. That's just like in 10 minutes. That's starting,
oh,
so I have to
nice.
get myself over there. But it was so wonderful to catch up with you and to hear from you. And I wish you really, um, I wish you all the best in this next 1 year of your life. And I'm so happy that what you talked about in the beginning about, again, work taking the back seat when it needed to, and now you're getting back into it. It's just such a real and really real way to talk about this that we don't often talk about. So I really appreciate that, and I also wish you all the gigs that you want, and
Yes.
to cross your path in this next 1 year. And yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for the update.
And inshallah I get to meet you in person. Yeah, that'd be nice.
That would be so awesome. Now at least we're on the same time zone, so we're getting closer. But if you're ever in the Middle East, let me know. I mean, I'm actually here quite often too, so who knows? You never know. And now I'll be this Arabic, I'll know Arabic a little bit better too, so that's exciting.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for this.
Wonderful. Thank you, Khadija, and thanks to everyone who's joined us today. Do check out Khadija's Instagram that she hasn't posted on since the
I'll
summer
be better at it. Look, I promise. I'll be better at it.
There's a lot of beautiful work that she shared before, so definitely check it out. And thank you guys. Thank you for joining us today. All the best to you. Have a wonderful Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, my friends.